Society loves to judge age gap relationships. It mocks them, questions them, shames them. But judgment is always loudest when the truth is the most uncomfortable. And here is the truth older women will never admit publicly, a truth so forbidden it lives only in silence. Age gap desire is exploding because younger men give older women something their own age cannot, a psychological rebirth. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe and like the video. Older women don't desire younger men because they want immaturity, recklessness, or inexperience. No, that's the shallow interpretation. The truth is far darker, far deeper, far more primal. Older women crave younger men because younger men represent a portal into the version of themselves they lost along the way. Every woman carries two timelines: the life she lived and the life she wishes she lived. The older she gets, the larger the gap becomes between these two lives. And a younger man, he collapses that gap. He treats her the way she wishes someone had treated her when she was younger. He touches her with fascination instead of obligation. He sees her not as a mother, not as a divorcee, not as a woman weighed down by years of responsibility, but as a radiant force of femininity and experience. To him, she isn't aging. She's intriguing. She's thrilling. She's powerful. And nothing intoxicates an older woman more than being seen through eyes that have never tasted disappointment, resentment, or routine. A younger man sees her with curiosity. An older man sees her with comparison. A younger man sees possibility. An older man sees responsibility. A younger man sees depth. An older man sees decline. Older women feel that difference instantly. They feel it in his gaze, in his energy, in the way he approaches her without the weight of expectations. To him, she is not a chapter that has closed. She is a chapter he wants to open. But here is the deeper truth. Older women crave younger men because the younger man reflects the youth she fears is slipping away. Women don't fear wrinkles. They fear invisibility. They fear becoming background noise in a world that once applauded their mere existence. They fear losing the magnetism they didn't think they needed to protect. A younger man brings that magnetism back. Not artificially, but instinctively. His desire becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, she sees not her age, but her essence. She sees the woman she was before heartbreak, before responsibility, before motherhood, before exhaustion, before years of suppressing desires to satisfy everyone else. A younger man doesn't remind her of time. He reminds her of possibility. Older men often carry their past into every moment. They carry disappointments, failures, fears, bitterness, routine. They compare. They evaluate. They judge. They become emotionally rigid. Younger men do not. Younger men exist in the present. They explore instead of evaluate. They admire instead of analyze. They treat her body with wonder instead of familiarity. And most importantly, they give her something older men rarely offer anymore: attention without resentment, desire without expectation, and presence without emotional fatigue. This is why age gap desire is not just common, it's exploding. Because modern older women are entering a new era the world wasn't ready for. They are financially independent. They are emotionally aware. They are sexually confident. They are psychologically liberated. They do not need men for survival, which means the only men they choose are the ones who make them feel alive. And younger men make them feel alive in a way older men rarely can. But it goes even deeper. Older women crave younger men because younger men haven't built emotional calluses yet. They haven't learned to love cautiously. They haven't experienced decades of intimate disappointment. Their hearts are more open. Their passion burns hotter. Their admiration is purer. Older men often love with calculation. Younger men love with intensity. Older women rarely get intensity from their own age group. Intensity becomes rare with time. Life numbs people. Stress numbs people. Responsibility numbs people. But younger men still feel desire in its raw, unfiltered form. And for an older woman, that's addictive. But the psychology goes further. Older women don't just want emotional intensity. They want emotional polarity. When men grow older, many become detached, numb, and emotionally unavailable. They withdraw into logic. They lead with caution. They become guarded. They lose their spark. They lose their hunger. Younger men still have that hunger. They still pursue. They still initiate. They still express desire with honesty instead of calculation. And nothing awakens a woman's femininity like being desired with sincerity. Older women spent years taking care of others, children, husbands, households, careers. They gave. They sacrificed. They softened their needs for everyone else's comfort. With a younger man, she gets to receive again. Receive attention. Receive affection. Receive desire. Receive emotional energy instead of constantly giving it. It reverses the emotional polarity she lived under for decades. This reversal is not sexual, it's psychological. A younger man makes her feel chosen again. Not tolerated. Not settled for. Not taken for granted. Chosen. Because younger men do not choose older women to fill a void. They choose them because they are drawn to their essence. Their confidence. Their maturity. Their emotional depth. Their stability. Their strength. Their sensuality. Younger men aren't intimidated by her power, they are seduced by it. Older men, however, often feel threatened by a woman's growth. They feel insecure by her independence. They feel overshadowed by her confidence. They feel resentful of her evolution. Younger men feel none of that. With younger men, she doesn't have to shrink herself. She doesn't have to mute her intelligence. She doesn't have to downplay her success. She doesn't have to pretend to be less. She can be everything she is without apology. That freedom is intoxicating. Because older women spent their entire lives shrinking. But there is a darker truth beneath all of this. A truth older women bury deep within themselves. Younger men give them access to a version of themselves they never got to fully live. The version who was confident. The version who was desired. The version who was spontaneous. The version who wasn't exhausted. The version who dreamed freely. The version who didn't carry emotional scars. The version who believed in love without fear. A younger man becomes a time machine, not to her past, but to her unlived life. This is the truth society refuses to acknowledge. This is why age gap desire is exploding. Because women today are not like the women of the past. They are not retiring into motherhood. They are not resigning themselves to decline. They are not waiting for companionship in silence. They are awakening. They are exploring. They are taking emotional risks. They are choosing passion over tradition. They are choosing vitality over approval. They are choosing themselves over expectations. But here's the tragedy older women rarely admit. They do not want younger men long-term. They want what younger men awaken inside them. They want to feel beautiful again, to feel desired again, to feel alive again, to feel chosen again. The younger man is not the destination. He is the catalyst. But this desire carries consequences. Because the younger man often wants what she can give in the moment. Passion, emotional clarity, maturity, but not what she cannot give: time, children, long-term future. He enters for the experience. She enters for the resurrection. And when the experience ends, it isn't him she loses. It is the version of herself she felt while being with him. That is the heartbreak. Not the man, but the mirror he held. But here's the deeper truth older women rarely see. You don't need a younger man to access that version of yourself. You needed permission. And you gave that permission to him instead of giving it to yourself. Younger men unlock her not because they are young, but because they are open, because they are curious, because they are alive, because they see her essence instead of her age. An older woman doesn't need youth to feel desirable. She needs alignment. She needs to step back into her feminine power. She needs to reconnect with her softness, her sensuality, her presence, her joy. The collapse isn't in the desire itself. The collapse is in believing the desire must come from someone else. This is the truth older women never admit. They don't want younger men. They want to feel like the woman a younger man sees. That feeling isn't fantasy. It isn't delusion. It isn't temporary magic. It's real. It's hers. It always was. A younger man just reminded her. See the pattern. Protect your energy. This is DepthRealm.